Welcome to the Workology Podcast, a podcast for the disruptive workplace leader. Join host Jessica Miller-Merrell, founder of Workology.com, as she sits down and gets to the bottom of trends, tools, and case studies for the business leader, HR, and recruiting professional who is tired of the status quo. Now here's Jessica with this episode of Workology.
Welcome to the Workology Podcast, sponsored by ACE the HR Exam and Upskill HR. These are two courses that we offer here at Workology for certification prep and recertification for HR leaders with SHRM and HRCI. You can learn more about these courses at Workology.com. Benefits, employee benefits programs, plans, details, compliance, total rewards. You know you love them. You're in HR. But have you ever been curious about how benefits professionals stay ahead? In this episode, we're going to dive into the International Foundation of Employee Benefit Plans, IFEBP, and how the prestigious Certified Employee Benefit Specialist, or CEBS designation. We're going to explore the different CEBS credentials, including the GBA, the RPA, and the full CEBS. For those who are interested, what they're for, who they are, and why they're valued by employers. Plus, you'll learn about study resources, research insights, and emerging trends shaping the world of employee benefits in the new year and beyond. Whether you're just getting started or looking to specialize, this episode is going to give you actionable guidance to advance your career. And that's why I invited today's guest to join us. Before I introduce our guest for today, I do want to hear from you. Please comment the word podcast on my pinned post over on our Instagram account. It's at Workology Blog. Ask questions, leave comments, and make suggestions for future guests. We want to hear from you. So today's guest is Justin Held, CEBS. He's the Director of Educational Programs for the International Foundation of Employee Benefits Plans, or IFEBP. Justin brings nearly 2 decades of experience with the foundation, where he oversees IFEBP's educational offerings from certification programs to webinars and conferences. Previously, he led research and education under IFEBP, producing benchmark surveys and studies that survey research and trend analysis that helps benefits professionals stay ahead of industry changes. As a CEBS holder and longtime staffer, Justin's deep knowledge of certification tracks the GBA, the RPA, and the full CEBS, offering real-world plan design issues and the evolving benefits landscape. It's complex, people, and he helps make these complex benefits and retirement topics accessible and actionable. Justin, welcome to the Workology Podcast.
Thank you very much for having me, Jessica. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
To start, can you please share a little bit more about your background and your role with the International Foundation of Employee Benefit Plans?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you said, I'm Director of Educational Programs here at the Foundation. There's about 4 or 5 of us who oversee all these educational offerings. I've been here for 18 years at the International Foundation, and I oversee the design of a number of our in-person events, our virtual education offerings. And I actually started at the foundation on our data side. So as you mentioned, we survey our membership on benefit trends that they're experiencing. So my early days at the foundation were spent creating survey instruments, sending those instruments to our membership, compiling that data, and then presenting it through survey reports, webcasts, in-person events, podcasts, the list goes on and on. So I knew coming out of college that I wanted to work for a nonprofit, a mission-based organization. I wanted to use those analytical skills to not just increase share price for somebody else. So from a personal perspective, from our staff perspective, employee benefits are something that we take very seriously. These benefits help you pay for your doctor visits, your hospital stays, your dependent care on the health side. And on the retirement side, making sure that you're getting that comfortable retirement that you've earned over your long working career. So from our experiences, interaction with benefits, sometimes it comes in sort of low stress times. I have my annual physical, I'm refilling a prescription, I'm checking my 401k balance. But sometimes these interactions with benefits are substantial. I'm scheduling a surgery. I'm planning on going back to school to get my master's degree. I'm getting married next summer. I'm looking to purchase a home, and I'm looking to retire in the next 5 years. So our goal, my goal, is to give our members the tools to ensure that they can guide their plan participants in making those high-stake interactive decisions.
I feel like as employee benefits have gotten more complex, because they are, and I think there isn't an HR person that's listening to this podcast that doesn't agree with me. It's always changing, always moving. Having expertise in this area is really critical to supporting the employee experience, which is something wherever you are in the HR space and whatever role is incredibly important. So IFEBP is well known for its educational offerings. It sounds like there is a whole just slew of resources that many of us might be unfamiliar with. Could you give us a little overview and specifically introduce the Workology podcast listeners to the Certified Employee Benefits Specialists, or CEBS designation?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start from a more general perspective. Our core mission is to be the premier organization for employee benefits, objective, solution-based research and information to ensure the health and financial security of plan beneficiaries worldwide. We currently have about 31,000 members of the International Foundation. And every year we do sort of a rough analysis of a number of lives that we touch through our education. So of those 31,000 members, how many people do they serve in their roles? And that number this year is roughly 25 million plan participants across the United States and Canada. So like I said, our ultimate goal to ensure the health and financial security of those plan participants. And every year we strive to do that. We're entering our 72nd year of existence doing just that. And we do it through a wide range of member benefits. I'll cover just a couple here. Like I said before, objective information. We want to provide access to reliable information, vetted information, non-biased information, something that's very important in our current times. We are a non-lobbying organization. We are non-promotional. As part of our elevator pitch, we always say that we're benefit suited. I mentioned the research and benchmarking data, those exclusive survey reports. So we survey our membership on a wide variety of benefit topics. Healthcare costs, GLP-1 drugs are a huge topic in the benefit space. Cancer and oncology benefits, mental health, wellness. On the retirement side, we work with firms that collect and analyze publicly available defined benefit and defined contribution retirement plan information. So you're able to benchmark your plan against some of those metrics. Expert support. So we have a personalized research service at the International Foundation for those more complex questions. We're stationed here in just outside of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and we have 5 full-time staff members at the foundation here that are just here to answer your calls and answer your emails about benefit questions, whatever you'd prefer. We offer a wide variety of services, and this continues to be our highest rated member service. Someone that you can actually pick up the phone and talk to and ask a complex question to. So timely updates. So we have something called Today's Headlines. That's a daily news alert that provides updates on legislative and regulatory information. It's literally an email that's delivered to your email inbox on a daily basis. It's a list of usually 5 or 10 benefit news items of the day that you have to know about so you can best serve your plan participants. Another piece is the networking piece. I mentioned there's 31,000 members. Those are members across a wide variety of the employee benefit space, whether it's the multi-employer or Taft-Hartley space, the corporate or single employer sort of HR offices, as well as the public sector as well. They have their own unique challenges. At any time throughout history, they have more unique challenges that they have to deal with. So we also have a lot of offerings for them. So you had mentioned the CEBS program. That's one of the main reasons I'm here. So that is the Certified Employee Benefits Specialist designation, as you mentioned. It is sponsored by the International Foundation, so we're all housed here in the same building. So just wanted to provide sort of a little bit of a general overview of that. We always say it's the most respected and recognized professional credential in the employee benefits industry. This is a joint program. It's sponsored by the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania, so an Ivy League education on the US side. And we also have a partnership on the Canadian side with Dalhousie University. So we have the CEBS certification on the Canadian side as well. We have some folks that actually serve benefits offices in both countries, so they need those specialized knowledge on both sides. So we have dual credentialed folks in our membership, which is pretty cool. And obviously the focus, it's rigorous, it's college level curriculum, it's strategic, it's holistic. And when you get that CEBS designation, it is a mastery of benefit plan design, funding, regulation, the list goes on and on.
Amazing. I just love the partnerships and the resources and just the focus, because as I mentioned, things change quickly. And I will say for myself that benefits is one area that's always been a real opportunity. And I think a lot of HR professionals and kind of generous roles, as I have been, we have knowledge, but might not have enough of the nuanced specifics to really support the employee population in the way that we should.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'll just say from a benefits perspective, I got my degree in business, and as part of that degree, I took one HR course. And during that 14-week period, I'm sure benefits was probably one half of one of those weeks over those 14 weeks. It's a very specific knowledge base that people need to deep dive into. So absolutely.
Yeah, especially when you look at kind of some of the other HR certification offerings in the space, it's a small percentage of the overall knowledge, but we're only scratching the surface on those certification programs.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit more about the CEBS curriculum. So that includes 3 different distinct designations: the Group Benefits Associate, or GBA, the Retirement Plans Associate, or the RPA, and the full CEBS designation. Can you kind of walk us through the similarities and key differences between the 3 different credentials and how they build on one another?
Absolutely. And I'll just say, I'm very thankful that you post the transcript of this, because I'm going to be firing off about 10 different acronyms here. So it might get a little confusing. So it's going to be good to have it in writing as well. So as you mentioned, the three designations, all high level credentials that are awarded by the foundation and the Wharton School, like I mentioned, and they all require the successful completion of coursework and exams from our core curriculum. So those building blocks are the GBA and the RPA. So starting with the GBA, which is the Group Benefits Associate, as you mentioned, this focus specifically on the health and welfare side of the benefit space. So medical, dental, life insurance, disability benefits. And to earn your GBA requires 3 specific courses. So this is the Directing Benefits Program side. So Directing Benefits Programs Part 1 and Part 2. And then we have a Strategic Benefit Management course that's sort of a bridge course to complete that GBA side. Conversely, on the retirement side, we have the RPA, the Retirement Plans Associate. And that focuses specifically on defined contribution plans, defined benefit plans, whether it be 401ks, pensions. We do a deep dive into investments, which is always very exciting. And again, that is a 2-part certification that has the 3rd Strategic Benefit Management course to serve as the bridge. So there's Directing Retirement Plans, Part 1, Part 2, and then that Strategic Bridge course as well. And then finally, the full credential, which is the CEBS program. And that is achieved by completing all 5 of those required courses. So the 2 on the GBA, 2 on the RPA, and then the 1 Strategic Bridge course. And obviously, this represents a total benefits perspective. It integrates knowledge across both the health and group space, as well as the retirement and investment space. So obviously, CEBS is the most prestigious of those 3 sub-designations, but we recognize that there's some folks that just work on the health side and don't necessarily need that retirement side, so and vice versa. So we created those sub-designations as well, as for those folks to be able to be proud of their work on just accomplishing those 3, and those 3 will serve their role specifically.
Thank you for all that information. And my mind is really thinking about HR professionals and who are looking to maybe broaden or their experience, but really niche into a specific area and create a differentiation for themselves in maybe in supporting their organization and the employee population, but also in this job market, how any of these 3 would really position you differently compared to your traditionally HR certified peers.
yeah, being able to differentiate yourself in any job market is super valuable, so especially in this space.
Let's take a reset. This is Jessica Miller-Merrell, and you are listening to the Workology Podcast, powered by ACE, the HR Exam, and Upskill HR. Today, I'm with Justin Held, CEBS. He's the Director of Educational Programs for the International Foundation of Employee Benefit Plans, or IFEBP. Let's get back to our conversation with Justin. So I want to talk about maybe who's the typical student that is pursuing the CEBS designation. It is the program primarily for those maybe who are starting out in their roles, or is it for seasoned benefits professionals who are looking to specialize?
Yeah, so we designed it specifically to make it valuable for all professionals of all career levels, whether it be folks that are newer to the profession, right out of college, to those who are a little more experienced in the field. So, sort of looking at that continuum, starting with the newer professionals, this provides a very rapid and foundational strategic understanding of the industry, and obviously, it accelerates your career growth right out of the gate. Personally, this is a bucket that I fell into. I started at the foundation in 2007, and I earned my CEBS designation in 2010. And that was back when it was 8 full exams. So they really put me through the ringer there. And working at the foundation, it was sort of an informal requirement of my job. They want me presenting on benefits data to our membership. They wanted me to have those 4 letters after my name to give me a little bit of credibility as just a young baby-faced kid out of college. And that actually worked very well for me. I was still sort of in study mode coming right out of my undergrad, so I still had those skills. I still had those muscles to be able to knock that out pretty quickly. So, but I mentioned it's a wide spectrum of folks who are taking these courses and exams. On the other end of that spectrum, those experienced professionals. This designation is very sought after by benefits managers, HR executives, as well as consultants who are looking to validate that expertise. Whether it's the full CEBS designation or the GBA on the health side or the RPA on the retirement side. So our real goal here is the flexibility. That's the important piece. Whether you're new to the field or you've got 20 years in the industry like myself, the program is designed for those busy working professionals because it's a self-paced option. So we think that's a really important piece of it.
I love that the organization walks the talk. Employees have the certification like you're describing themselves. They've done the work so that they can really provide support to your member and community population, because as we are talking, this is really highly niche and specific, and we want to make sure we're sharing the right information and resources. I think that is fantastic. Beyond the individual, how do these designations, which we've been talking about, benefit employers? And do you feel like that they're providing a competitive advantage maybe for a company that has employees, members of the team who have the CEBS, the GBA, or the RPA? They have those holders on their leadership teams or HR.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just mention a couple of those advantages here. Obviously, it's a long laundry list of all the advantages and benefits here, but number one, and probably personally the most important to me, is that risk mitigation and compliance piece. The CBS holders possess a deep knowledge of super complex laws, ERISA on the retirement side, the Affordable Care Act and the ACA on the health side, which is again currently in the news, even though that law is coming up on probably like 15 years now of being in again, just the importance of ensuring that plans are compliant and reducing their own fiduciary risk from a plan perspective. The strategic piece, strategic cost management. Your team is going to quickly understand all those economic drivers of benefits and can design plans that control costs while maintaining the value to your workers. The total rewards piece, the strategic piece of that, aligning benefit programs with your business goals. Obviously, the whole point of having a benefits program is the recruitment, the retention, and the productivity of your workers. So targeting those things specifically. And then something that I mentioned before, that credibility. You're signaling to your internal folks, your external folks, your clients, as well as your plan participants, that the benefits program is managed by a top tier expert. This person has put in the work. It's a very strenuous process, but they've put in the work to be the absolute best that they can be to best serve those plan participants.
Wonderful. And you're mentioning ERISA and the ACA. I think HR leaders are familiar, but maybe not experts in those areas. Maybe when I think of some of the students that I'm working with in our HR certification prep program, ACE the HR exam, like we have to have a general knowledge of what ERISA is or ACA and how it might impact, but we don't really get down into the weeds of those specific areas. And it's often kind of a nebulous, a question. So I like that there's a program, an offering that where we can dive in more deeply. And then when we do, especially on the compliance side or the risk mitigation side, we can really speak to that in supporting the organization.
Absolutely. Yeah, we see a lot of our compliance of specific regulation in a reactive format. So the design of this program is to make sure you have that foundation. So you're not reacting to changes. You've got that foundational knowledge and you're able to roll with the punches.
So as we're looking forward, what are your top predictions or trends for employee benefits in the new year? What should benefits professionals be preparing for?
Yeah, so obviously this is something that we have our finger on the pulse on every day. I mentioned those folks that work here in the office that just take those calls, that just take those emails and create that today's headlines email. And they just listed a couple of things that they're seeing on a day-to-day basis. So I'll mention 4 or 5 trends here. Number one is a holistic health integration. So moving beyond just transactional benefits to actual total well-being. These folks are expecting a deeper integration of their mental health benefits, their financial wellness benefits, as well as their physical health resources. Obviously, the focus on wellness benefits for many, many years has been the physical. And obviously, that definition is broadening to focus more on total worker health. So how do we target our folks from all those different directions to make sure that they are totally healthy on all those dimensions? The second trend I'll mention is hyper personalization of the benefits. We have super diverse workforces. We have hybrid workforce. There's an increased demand for flexible benefits, whether it be lifestyle spending accounts, the stipend model of benefit offerings. These allow employees to choose benefits that are that are relevant to their life stage specifically. I sort of mentioned those high stress benefit touch points. I just graduated from college. Do you offer student loan repayment? I'm looking to start a family. Do you have fertility benefits? I have a child now. Do you offer caregiving? I'm looking to purchase a house. Do you have down payment assistance? 25 years down the road, I'm looking to retire in the next 5 years. What do you offer in the way of financial planning benefits? So obviously targeting those benefits to those specific folks in their specific life stages to make sure that their interaction with your benefit plan is appropriate and the most valuable for them as well as you. Third trend, data-driven fiduciary oversight. Benefit professionals have to use a lot of data analytics and transparency tools. We're getting data thrown at us from all different directions. They have to demonstrate their fiduciary responsibility, especially concerning plan fees with a lot of vendors that a benefits person might deal with on a day-to-day basis. PBM contracts are super long, super complicated, very, very diverse, and obviously the cost of care decisions that you have to make as a plan sponsor. And finally, a fourth trend, organizations have to get very creative on cost containment on the health side. Obviously, this is a constant year-to-year battle that we're going through, but our most recent research suggests that our members are anticipating another double-digit cost increase this year. So 10% or more, and then even higher on the prescription drug side and the specialty side. So obviously, organizations have to get creative in their approaches.
Well, thank you for kind of giving us a look into the future and what we should be thinking about in terms of total wellness and benefits and retirement offerings. Justin, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us here today on the Workology Podcast. Where can people go to learn more about you and then the CEBS designation?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll start at the most general. The International Foundation of Employee Benefit Plans, IFEBP.org. And that is sort of the jumping off point for everything that we discussed today. If you're looking more specifically at the CEBS program, CEBS.org, that entire complicated system of acronyms is all described there in a super easy to read format. Personally, I'm on LinkedIn, Justin Held, CEBS, after my name on LinkedIn is where you can find me. Please connect with me there, and I'm happy to point you in the right direction. In addition, the foundation has a blog called Word on Benefits. Me and about 10 of my peers write blog posts on hot benefit topics, new benefit trends, new data points. We post a few per week. And I'll mention finally, we also have a podcast of our own called Talking Benefits. We're actually coming up on our 10th anniversary of that podcast. So we're pretty excited about that. Typically do 15 or 20 episodes per year. We cover those research findings. We discuss trends, and we interview some of the best and brightest folks in the benefits industry. So those are some of the places you can find us.
Amazing. And we also will have a list in the transcript of the podcast that has all the resources to connect with Justin and the organization ifebp.org and more, along with the podcast link. I am definitely a fan of the more resources, the better. Thank you again for taking the time to chat with us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me, Jessica. It's been a pleasure.
That is a wrap for today's episode. A big thank you to Justin Held, CEBS, for sharing his insights on the IFEBP, the CEBS designation, and the resources available to help employee benefits professionals grow their careers. HR, check it out. HR leaders, this is a good one. If you would like to learn more about the IFEBP or explore the GBA, the RPA, or the full CEBS credentials, head on over to ifebp.org. And don't forget to subscribe to the Workology Podcast so you never miss an episode packed with actionable insights for HR and benefits professionals. And as always, you can find more resources, courses, and conversations over at workology.com. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love for you to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another HR leader. Thank you for joining the Workology Podcast, sponsored by ACE the HR Exam and Upskill HR, Workology's learning platform for HR certification, recertification, and manager training. This podcast is for the disruptive workplace leader who's tired of the status quo. I'm Jessica Miller-Merrell. Until next time, visit Workology.com to listen to all our Workology podcast episodes.